Welcome to the Calling All Creeps podcast. My name is Bryce.
And I'm Nathan.
And this is a podcast where we're going to talk about anything, everything spooky, anything Halloween related, anything October related, anything and everything from history, cartoons, toys, movies, magic. I mean, we're going to talk about anything that's just like even slightly dark at all.
This is, to give an idea, this is just a podcast about all things spooky and nostalgic. Now, me and Bryce have a lot of history, don't we, Bryce? We've known each other for a long time.
A long time. Nathan is one of my best buds in the whole world, and we have done a lot of Halloween-related thing between horror music. You've put out plenty of your own Halloween EPs. We loved playing Halloween shows back when we played in a band together. We love watching horror movies.
So basically, a long time ago, like 800 years ago, we were in a band together back in the olden times, and we've just stayed in touch for nearly a decade now. I don't know if you want to cut this out or not, but I've been your best man twice.
Yes.
At two different weddings.
Last time, this time around, man.
Yes, very much. So we have a lot of history, and we both like spooky stuff and spooky nostalgic stuff. And so Bryce came to me with the idea of doing this podcast, Calling All Creeps, where we're going to talk about various spooky nostalgic things. We're both 90s pop culture junkies, I think it's fair to say. And
Absolutely.
This episode is in line with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is going to be part of a bigger media project. This podcast is being recorded and released under the October Society Media Collective. We do Calling All Creeps, the band, Calling All Creeps, the podcast. And in the future, we plan on doing film. We plan on doing more music releases, different genres. This is a lot of big stuff in the plans for the October Society.
Yeah, so just to give the listeners an idea, Calling All Creeps is also the name of Bryce's musical project, one of Bryce's music projects, which is a horror punk band along the lines of the Misfits, that type of thing.
Yeah, Blitzkid, Nimvind, Calabrese, all sorts of bands like that. Big fan.
You have like an album?
Yeah. If you want to check out the record, it is called Grave Rat.
I'm evil, I am fear. That's what I am to see ya. I'm a freak in your nightmares. Let me drag you into my lair.
Really good record, actually. I was listening to that back in October again.
Yeah, and we've got a whole nother album coming out soon as well. But anyways, I wanted to start out today with something very near and dear to my heart, and that is an episode of The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald.
Finally.
Specifically, the episode Scared Silly. Now, Nathan, this was your first time watching it?
This was probably the first time watching this episode, although I do vaguely have memories of this show existing from childhood. When I was like 10 years old or something, my mom came home with a VHS tape of these things, of these Ronald McDonald cartoons, which were just straight to VHS McDonald's cartoons. And I sort of vaguely remember watching them, but I don't remember anything about the plots. I mean, the plots are more like fever dreams than they are coherent storylines anyways. When you first sent me the link to this thing, at first I was kind of like, oh no. This could be maybe not my favorite thing, but I got to admit, I was very entertained by it and charmed by it, and I found it to be very fun and nostalgic. And actually, in some ways, pretty well done. But, we'll get into that. What was your introduction to this series?
Yeah, so I have all of these on VHS. We grew up in a mainly VHS household. We never had cable or anything like that. So if we didn't have it on VHS, we didn't watch it. And so we had a lot of VHS tapes, but we watched them over and over and over again. And this was absolutely one that I watched constantly. I watched it constantly as a kid. I've watched it constantly straight into adulthood. It's a must-have every Halloween. It's something I get to enjoy with my kid now. We have another kid coming soon, and something I'll also be enjoying with her. It's like hocus pocus to me. It's a family tradition. It's something you have to do every year, and it's so good. I do it more than once.
Yeah, just for context, Bryce is about to have his second child, and he thought it was the perfect time to start doing a podcast.
Yeah, I'm not busy enough as it is. I I barely made it to get into this recording on time.
Let me ask you this. What is it about this show that charms you so much? If you can just lay it out a little more clearly.
About the show in general or this particular episode?
The show in general. Like, why do you have such love for the Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald, if you can just put it into words?
You know, I don't think I've ever even eaten at McDonald's before. Like, maybe when I was a kid, I feel like I vaguely remember eating McDonald's pancakes as a kid once.
Interesting.
Maybe just some apples. I don't know. Honestly, I almost never had anything to do with McDonald's growing up. I've never eaten McDonald's, but McDonald's is just, between like the Halloween baskets and the Halloween coupon books they gave out, like the Halloween McNuggets, like that was a big thing. Like my brother, my sister, and my family would eat at McDonald's, but I never had any interest in it. But you know, you get those Happy Meal toys, and you know, you go to garage sales, and that was like, people would be selling McDonald's toys, and the Halloween ones I liked the best. And so I don't know, something about McDonald's is just super 90s. You know, I remember going to McDonald's. I mean, I remember the playpen. I remember the old, like, I think it's probably like Nintendo 64 kind of controller video games they had. And it was a place we went, you know, and so it's got a childhood memory to me there. And in the series itself, I think the series is good.
It seems like it's a nostalgia does have a lot to do with it for you.
Oh, absolutely.
This kind of sense of pure joy and happiness that you get from your childhood. Yeah, I mean, that's like a very common thing to enjoy on that level. I like how you just like, you're very unapologetic about your indulgence in nostalgia. I think a lot of people are more self-conscious about it. But you just kind of just embrace the things that you loved as a kid. That
is a fact, Jack. Honestly, to a fault. Sometimes I have to like stop myself. I have to be like, oh my gosh, I'm being like, I'm too into it. You know, I'll get those days where I'm just kind of like grabbing every 90s thing I've got, and I'm just absorbing myself and like tucking myself away from the modern world. And I'm like, I don't need a phone. I just want to put in my VHS tapes and like eat my fucking cereal on Saturday morning and watch cartoons, and I want to like bust out my 64 or whatever, you know. Nostalgia does play a big role in my life.
Yeah, I've not heard you use this phrase too much recently, but you used to call it your Peter Pan complex. You had a Peter Pan complex, and it's actually something we share a lot in common. Is this sense of like, you know, still being sort of children on some level. Never fully adulting all the way. Whimsy. So we're both very nostalgic about 90s kids cartoons, I think. And let's get into this a little bit. I was kind of surprised at how good the animation actually looks. And you told me something interesting earlier about the company that produced the animation for this.
Yeah, I believe it's pronounced Klasky Chupo. If you watched a lot of cartoons, they did like Rugrats and the Wild Thornberries.
Ooh, that was smashing.
And you can definitely tell, animation-wise, that's who's doing it.
Which is why it looks pretty good. I mean, the animation actually looks pretty nice. It's just this very quintessential 90s kids cartoon kind of animation style.
Yeah, very Nickelodeon feeling.
Yeah, it feels like Saturday morning eating cereal, watching Nickelodeon in, you know, early 2000s kind of vibes. It looks pretty good. The voice acting is also not too bad. What's interesting about this is that there's a live action section of this thing and a cartoon section.
Right.
So they got actors to portray live action characters, including Ronald McDonald himself, and then they got animators to animate. Like, it's actually pretty elaborate, high production stuff for something that is ostensibly an advertisement.
Yeah, and there's, you know, puppets at the beginning for the other characters also.
Now good morning in McDonald land. Let's see what's happening first.
Yeah, so it starts out live action. Starts out with a really cool theme song. I've covered the theme song before. It's awesome. Did you like that theme song?
Honestly, I can't really remember how it goes, to be honest. Was not the biggest fan of the songs in this special, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, see, and that's where you're wrong. All right, so you're wrong. First off, the intro is awesome. It makes a super fun pop punk cover. But anyways, yeah, they're just in his big M-shaped house, and he sleeps in a burger bed. And, they go through the day of him waking up to his alarm clock and doing a bunch of outfit changes.
Oh, Sunday, it's me.
Oh, sorry, Ronald.
Ronald McDonald lives in like a Pee-wee's Playhouse kind of. It's like a Pee-wee's Playhouse sort of setup. Have you ever seen that show?
Yeah, don't kill me. I've never seen that show.
Oh, wow.
I've never seen Pee-wee's Playhouse. I've never seen anything Pee-wee related.
Well, okay, so you're not missing much. I mean, the Tim Burton movie's pretty good. The show is very much like this. It's like he lives in this kind of wacky house that's themed around himself. But anyway.
Good morning, Sunday.
Good morning, Ronald.
Gotta get ready to enjoy the view. Looking kinda cool, looking kinda new.
Ronald McDonald lives in like a McDonald's house. And he's sort of like, in this world, he's like the adult and like all of the other characters are sort of like children.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Ronald McDonald is the only adult in this universe. And he's sort of like a caretaker for everybody else.
Yeah, that's like a question I did have, because you don't see it in this episode, but you do meet him in later episodes. And obviously, if you're very familiar with the McDonald's franchise and characters, I don't know exactly where he sits, because there is a mayor of McDonald Land where he lives, Mayor McCheese. So he's not the mayor. And so is he the king? Is he God?
I would like to believe that he's a malevolent dictator who lives off of fear.
Probably benevolent.
Yeah, I guess we'll see about that.
But yeah, so it starts out with Sunday, or the puppet, is maybe the scariest part of the whole thing in reality.
Yeah, very disturbing.
If you look at this dog, she's got very human eyes and very human teeth.
It sort of works in cartoon form. I think you can tell that like the character was definitely designed in 2D.
Right. I think the teeth are the strangest part. I don't know. It never bothered me as a kid, but looking at him now, I'm like, it's kind of a freaky looking dog.
Yeah.
But yeah, he starts out and he's watching, I believe, like the 1929 movie Land of the Lost, which I think they call Attack of the Dinosaurs in the episode.
It's
I don't know why.
I actually know the movie, believe it or not, because when I was a kid, I was a huge silent movie nerd. It's The Lost World.
Lost World, not Land of the Lost. Yeah, that's what I meant. I meant Lost World. Whoops.
Yeah, and like which is like the early stop motion dinosaur movie.
Kind of sets the stage for Sunday kind of being a scaredy cat.
Is that Attack of the Dinosaurs? Why didn't you tell me? I love that movie.
I'm gonna have to switch to sugar-free dog food.
Yeah, the point of the scene is that Sunday's a scaredy cat, and by the end of the episode, there's kind of like a lesson about how you don't need to be afraid of things or something along those lines, I guess. But anyway.
I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, so he's watching the scary movie, and Ronald comes in, and he's like, oh, I love this movie, but you're going to have nightmares. But anyways, immediately they get interrupted, and they get a phone call. This is not just a regular phone call, it's a video phone call, and which feels super futuristic in Ronald's crazy house. He's got all these gadgets, and he's got a cool microphone he talks into, and he's got multiple video calls for people and stuff. Very crazy looking house, but who calls him up but the first character we're introduced to, Chica.
Oh, hey, someone's calling on the picture full. I'll get it.
I don't know exactly where Chica fits into the McDonald Land franchise. I don't know if there were ever toys of her or anything like that, but
Hi, Tika.
I feel like she's in every episode.
She's like the self-insert character for the kids watching the show. She's just like, oh, here's a relatable kid character we can put into this.
Right. So she calls up Ronald and she says, hey, let's go camping. It's fall time, winter's coming, let's go camping. And Ronald's like, badass, that's a good idea. And so he decides to call up all his other friends. Yeah, but he gets the gang together and he says, we're going camping. Ronald McDonald and Sunday then jump through a ball pit in his floor, which slides down a tube, and during this tube slide, they become cartoons.
Oh, yeah.
And what's really funny at the end of this is once they get to the end, Sunday's complaining about how they need to like put in stairs or an elevator or something. And he's like, yeah. And Ronald's like, yeah, that used to be fun. And you're just like, oh man, this is the first episode of the series. And they're already like, I'm getting old. Like, jumping through a ball pit to isn't very fun anymore. And that was always a weird feeling to me. I'm just
I don't need a dose of reality, of sobering reality in my Ronald McDonald cartoon.
Right? So they go into his garage, and out of the floor pops his car. His car rises up from the floor, and then out of the ceiling, he presses another button, and all of his camping supplies fall out of the ceiling and perfectly right on top of the car. And this isn't a regular car. It's a talking car with eyes and a face.
Hold on a minute, I'm carrying all of you?
You're the car.
Well, don't blame me when I sprain an axle.
And then all of his friends show up, and the first thing this car does is start complaining. He's like, what do you mean? I gotta carry all of you? Don't blame me if I sprain an axle. And Sunday's like, oh man, that's all we need is a car with an attitude.
Just what we need. Dual airbags and an attitude problem.
I hate this car. But then, so they get going on the car drive out to the far-flung forest. And the first thing Tika does, who invited everyone on this trip, is start telling everybody about the far-flung phantom.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about this. I just remember them going into the forest and camping. I don't remember any of the lore.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how much lore there is, but there's a ghost in the forest, and it preys upon unsuspecting campers in a spooky old house, and when campers get near, they're swept away by floods and lost forever.
Okay.
At least that's what Tika says. I don't know where the floods come in. Is this thing controlling, is there a lake nearby? I don't know. But she does foretell that there is a spooky house in the forest, and there's a ghost.
And I believe this is where we get our first musical number, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay, so we need to talk about these songs, man. We need to talk about these songs.
Yeah, you kind of brush past the intro, which is great. Listen to it, and hopefully we can insert some clips here. But yeah, then they do, I don't know if there's names for them, but just the camping song.
There's nothing like the great outdoors, and the far-flung forest is the best, of course. If you want to get close to the greenery, then camping in the wild is the place to be.
And this is a song I play when I go camping. And as someone who camps a lot, I have played this song tons of times on my guitar. It is a bop.
There's nothing like the great outdoors, and the far-flung forest is the best, of course. If you want to get close to the greenery, then camping in the wild is the place to be.
There's flowers
And squirrels.
and fish and frogs, caves and rocks.
And lots of bugs.
I wouldn't say that it's a bop. I remember texting you back after watching this episode and being like, man, this cartoon's pretty fun and nostalgic, but these songs are ass, dude. And you were like, what are you talking about? These songs slap.
Caves and rocks.
And lots of bugs.
They are, Nathan. I think you just need to hear them a couple more times. All the songs in this are really catchy. I would even say this is the catchiest one. It's fun. You can tell they're having fun singing it in the car.
I can agree with you about one thing, and that this is not the best song in the special. There are better songs than this in the special.
Yeah, we will absolutely be getting to those because there are some bangers.
Yeah, Time to set up camp is not really my favorite. I mean, I'm sorry.
Time to set up camp.
One of the things I've always appreciated about you and liked about you is your sense of whimsy. You have this childlike whimsy that is very beautiful and pure. And it's one of the things that endears you to me very much. I can't quite... It's a whimsy that I try to have too, but I can't quite extend it to these songs. They are like letting the music teacher write songs for the elementary school play levels of bad.
I don't think they're that bad, but they're definitely songs written for kids. No doubt. It is a kid's cartoon.
Very true, very true.
But yeah, so they finish this song. Sunday asks his last, are we there yet? The answer is finally yes. This is the cool thing that they do is they're not going to a campsite. There's not bathrooms around and a place you gotta check in, and there's no place you have to pay. There's no gravel spots and a bunch of other campers with RVs and generators and all that jazz. No, man, they just get out, put their backpacks on, and they go walking into the woods to camp. And people don't do that enough anymore, and that's my favorite way to camp.
I was just gonna mention as a side note that if the show is trying to make me hungry for McDonald's, it's not really succeeding in doing that. I thought that I was gonna watch this and really crave the food, but it didn't really make me crave the food because there's not really a whole lot of food talk going on.
No, yeah, not in this episode. I think this episode stands out pretty significantly from the other ones. There's one where they time travel. There's one where they meet aliens and go to outer space. There's one where they enter a birthday-themed amusement park. There's one where they go to an island in the sea. And there's another one, which I'm not sure if we should talk about here or if it deserves its own episode. But so there's essentially a lost episode, or it's not lost, but unreleased episode. Officially unreleased episode. It's not out on VHS. But the thing why it's not released is during production, someone working on it inserted really, really small snippets that, like, when you're watching it, you don't see, but if you slow it down, supposedly there's like a bunch of sex and murder scenes this guy inserts throughout the entire episode. And there were so many of them and they were so small, I guess they just wouldn't go back or couldn't go back and like ensure they could find all of them and delete all of them. And so you could still watch it on YouTube, but it never got released. And I don't know if that's why they stopped doing the series in total or what. But yeah, there's supposedly a bunch of really gory, grisly, kid-friendly stuff.
Bryce, have you ever heard of a creepypasta? It sounds like you've been reading creepypastas.
No, it's true. That's why it didn't get released.
Okay.
I've never done it, but I've watched it on YouTube. And I guess I've never gone back to slow it down and watch frame by frame to see all of these. But I mean, as far as I know, that's why they never released the Loch Ness Monster episode, is because of that.
They couldn't just cut it out?
Yeah, I don't know if they just didn't think they could go through and find enough of them or what. I'd have to. It's been a long time since I've read about it.
At least it's not the Phantom.
But anyways, yeah. So let's get back to the one at hand. So they are walking through the woods, and I think already, if you're paying attention, there's already been some foreshadowing, but it continues. It continues when Tika drops a walkie-talkie, and Birdie's like, hey, you dropped this. And Birdie's like immediately suspicious.
Oh, yes, well, I brought this walkie-talkie in case we split up. We could stay in touch, but oh, darn it, where's that other one?
Oh, that's weird.
Tika picks it up. She's like, oh, yeah, I brought walkie-talkies so we could stay in touch. And then she like says, oh, darn, where's that other one? She says it really stupid, and Birdie's like, And I'm like, I wouldn't have got suspicious yet. But as they continue on, there's another scene where a camera is in a tree and it pops up out of the leaves. And as they walk under the tree, the camera points down at them and it's blipping lights and stuff. And Tika like gives it a thumbs up. And then Birdie notices it, and then the camera vanishes. That's where I would have seen her getting suspicious. But already you're like, okay, Tika is up to something.
I got to admit, I did not notice anything suspicious because I'm terrible at picking up on any sort of foreshadowing.
Right. Again, I don't think, I mean, obviously I think when the camera pops up and you see her like give it a thumbs up, you're like, that's when I start to get a little suspicious. I'm like, all right, and there's a camera that's actively trying to stay hidden and only she's acknowledging it. It's been maybe almost 30 years since it's been out, so obviously spoilers or something.
Yeah, spoilers for the wacky adventures of Ronald McDonald.
And so, man, so not only do I hate this car, and already Tika is acting a little suspicious, but you know who else I hate? And if you watch the series, you'll hate them throughout the whole series, is I hate these McNuggets.
Oh, yeah.
We thought you might need an extra body, Grimace.
Oh, sure. Hop in.
And you get your first taste of hate these guys is these McNuggets are walking along and they're just like, oh, you know, it'd be a good idea if I just hopped in Grimace's backpack and got a ride from him.
There's just like too many characters going on here. I forget that the Nuggets exist until they appear on screen again, and then I'm just reminded, oh yeah, those guys.
Yeah, I guess we didn't even introduce all the characters. I mean, there's Ronald McDonald, and there's Sunday, and there's Tika, who's a human girl, and then there's Birdie, she's a bird, there's Grimace, he's a Grimace. He's a purple blob guy. There's also the Hamburglar, which is one of my favorite characters, and I don't even know why he hangs out with him. He's really funny. He's a jerk the whole time, and then his whole job is stealing hamburgers from the place that sells hamburgers. I don't know. He's great though. And then who else is there? There's the McNuggets, and my favorite, there's the Fry Kids.
Yeah, the Fry okay, so they're different from the Nuggets, man.
Right. And so they're walking through the forest, and one of the first things Sunday does, being a dog, he goes off to chase a squirrel. And all of a sudden, out of the bushes comes like a gigantic man-sized squirrel in like camo shorts and boots, and he's just like ripped. And Sunday's like, maybe I shouldn't be chasing squirrels.
You're right, Ronald. It's just a squirrel. A very nice squirrel.
And so that's pretty weird. It's a giant squirrel man living in the woods. But they're going along, and you get another bit of what's going on with Tika when she starts giving directions. She's like, we need to be going this way. Ronald turns to her, and he's like, you sure know your way around for this being your first time camping. But I think she's kind of saved the suspicion when she points out that Ronald McDonald has walked off of a cliff, and he's, doing the old cartoon thing. He's standing in midair, suspended, and he kind of laughs it off and walks back.
Yeah, there's like some Tex Avery Roadrunner shit.
For a first-time camper, you know how to find your way around.
I do know one thing. You're off the trail.
And then they take a rest, and they're like, there's 3 more hours of hiking left before they're gonna set up camp.
You've got to be kidding. 3 more hours, my poor delicate arches. Isn't there an easier way?
Yeah, Ronald McDonald is just like, shut up, you lazy motherfuckers. Haha, this is what camping's all about.
And this is also the part where you find out inadvertently that Ronald McDonald is also magical. They're sitting around resting, and Hamburglar's like, hey, Ronald.
Hey, why don't you whip up something magical, Ronald, and we can get there in no time, eh?
This sucks. Why don't you just whip up something magical instead? And he's like, we'll do some magic later. The Hamburglar doesn't take that very well, and he's like, well, I'm going to do something. And so he goes and he hides in the bushes, and he's got a bear call. And so he starts blowing through it or whatever and making all these bear noises. He's like, oh, man, I sure hope this works. And then a giant bear steps up from behind him, and he's like, oh, it sure does. So now you're like, okay, is this like a bear or is this like a guy? Like, obviously, there's Birdie, there's that squirrel before. This is a talking bear, man. Is he a citizen, or is he just like, I don't know the animal thing here, like, does he have a house somewhere? Like Birdie's got a house, or is he just a wild bear that talks? So he starts chasing him through the woods, and then boom, Ronald McDonald says, all right, well, time to whip out the magic I can do. He takes his map and he folds it out, and it becomes a door right there in the woods. He opens the door up. Inside the door is just pitch black, and this bear runs straight into it, and he shuts the door behind him. I'm like, what? Where? You just send this bear into like another dimension? Like, where did this bear go? And it comes up later, but like that always like stopped me in my tracks. I'm like, man, I was like, again, is this a citizen? Is this a bear? Do you just send your problems into magic doors? And you're like, I guess they live in the magic door now. That bear doesn't have a family.
I mean, they were about to get Timothy Treadwell. I wouldn't take my chances with a bear.
Right.
I'd send him to another dimension. Freaking bitch ass.
Anyways, yeah.
I kind of forgot about a lot of the stuff that happens in the middle of the episode, and I watched this like more than once. The next thing that I can remember happening is them ending up in like this haunted house.
Yeah. So yeah, right after this, again, they set up camp, and yeah, they have the set up camp song, which I also sing every time I go camping.
Time to set up camp.
I don't know why you didn't like it. It's awesome. The part that Tika sings in it is spectacular.
You know what? I love that for you.
But anyways, yeah.
If you love Time to set up camp, then I'm not going to try and wrench that love away from your whimsical, childlike baby hands. It's yours to have. And I'm happy for you.
All right, so they've set up camp. They're sitting around the campfire, and Hamburger's like, oh, yeah. Remember that ghost that was brought up earlier? And he starts talking about the ghost, and everyone's starting to get scared, and Ronald McDonald's like, oh, man, Sunday's going to have nightmares again. So he takes Sunday off on a walk, and on their walk, off in the distance, what do they notice? But a big, spooky-looking house, and there's a bunch of electricity coming from it, and you're like, oh, man. Maybe that's that house Tika talked about earlier where the ghost lived.
Some kind of old house.
Old is an understatement.
No, wait, there's a light.
And back at camp, a Hamburglar sets up a fake ghost on a string from a tree, and it starts flying around and scaring everybody. Of course, Ronald McDonald comes back and points out that Hamburglar's messing with everybody. And I think this is where you notice that Chica and the McNuggets are gone. They're like, huh, where are these guys at? They pop back up. But still, they're gone for a minute. And that's, again, just another suspicious thing Tika's doing.
Yeah, Tika is engaged in some dangerous shit. She's like orchestrating the kidnap of her friends. The twist in this thing is so crazy.
Right. Yeah, and so I think then they're like, okay, everything's fine as long as it doesn't start to rain. And then, of course, it immediately starts to rain. Even though there was no rain in the forecast. And so Ronald McDonald, I assume, uses his magic again and blows up some big flowers so they become umbrellas. And they're like, we're going to have to take shelter in this haunted house. And of course, this is where we get to, man. This is not a camping story. This is a haunted house story, man.
Whoa. It's interesting how much buildup there is, considering it's like the spooky episode. It takes its time getting there. It's like, 30 minutes of stuff before they get to the haunted house.
But they do get to the haunted house. And of course, it opens up and the door shuts and locks behind them. And they're like, oh, well, I guess we're staying for the night, whether we want to or not. And Tika, again, she's like, well, let's just, stay here and check it out. And you're like, all right, Tika's doing something. And this is where it butts into the next. This is probably the best song.
What kind of place can this be? Who could live in here? What family?
It's a really great song about like who could possibly live in this terrifying house. It's super great.
It's wild and scary. The walls are hairy.
I love a good haunted house. It is just like a straight up Scooby-Doo style campy haunted house with the cobwebs and the lightning and all that stuff. We love it. We're here for that shit here on Calling All Creeps.
Yeah, they walk into a room, and inside the room, there's a bunch of weird stuff in this room. And then you have the floating ghost head.
Never push and never pull. You're finished when your plate is full. Exercise your force of will. You proceed by standing still.
And they never say it. They never bring it up again. But I assume this is the far-flung phantom. He pops up, gives them a riddle, and dips out. I don't remember exactly what the riddle is. But before they figure that riddle out, the worst thing in the show happens. It's my favorite line of the show. They're like, we can't get out of these doors. And Fry Kids, they go,
I've been opening doors all my life. Come on, guys.
I've been opening up doors all my life. And he goes, they don't have any arms, so he goes to like karate kick this door open. And then all the Fry Kids fall through a hole in the floor.
Fry Kids! Fry Kids!
Whoa, where'd they go?
Fry Kids!
And that's like pretty much the last time you ever see the Fry Kids. I don't think they're in any other episodes, but yeah, my favorite characters just dip out here, man. They fall through a trap door. No more Fry Kids. Birdie figures out the riddle, the correct door opens, and they go on their merry way.
It's not a guarantee that the Fry Kids are dead, but one can dream.
Honestly, I don't think it was until like last year, a couple years ago or something, where I was watching this and I was showing my wife, and I'm watching it with the kid, and I point out, I'm like, this is the last time you ever see the Fry Kids. I'm like, and at the end, you see everyone back, but you never see the Fry Kids come back. And as far as I'm concerned, I was like, the Fry Kids fucking gone. They're gone. But she pointed out to me, man, she did. She found a scene where, like, in the corner of the screen or something like that, for like a blip of a second at the end, the Fry Kids are there.
Okay, well, you know.
So, no. Unfortunately, they do not die. Do you remember what happens next, Nathan?
There's like a series of riddles and stuff.
Yeah, they have the first riddle, they get through that, and then, I don't remember exactly the order of things, but they, one of the things they do when they're walking through a hallway in this house, they open one of the doors, and you know what's inside of that door?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's the bear. The bear that he opened the magic door through in the woods is all of a sudden sitting inside of one of the doors in this house. Where is this bear at? I don't know. The bear is my biggest question. You never see the bear again. And then they end up in a library, and there's a mirror maze where they sort of do a reprise of that first song they sing at the haunted house.
If we hold hands and follow the clue, we'll soon find our way through.
They figure out how to get out of the door. They figure out how to get out of the maze. I think it's then they end up in a room, and he's like, "You've passed all my tests," the ghost head. And he's like, "But we've got one more test where I'm going to ask you more riddles. And if you can answer the riddles, you're free to go." None of them get the riddles right. The answers to the riddles are the traps, and Ronald McDonald figures that out. And it comes up to Grimace next, and I think Ronald's like, "Well, you know, ask me first," because Grimace doesn't want to go. And he asks him a riddle, and like the answer is friendship. And then the last riddle, Ronald McDonald gets right. Him, Sunday, and Grimace get it right, and the ghost is like, I didn't expect anybody to get it right.
No fun, no fun! You weren't supposed to know the answer. Give me a minute while I think of what to do.
And he's like, I gotta think, and he blips out. And then they find like a wire, and they follow that wire and cord to a door, and they bust in. And who's inside of this room but Chica, the McNuggets, and some kid.
I have to figure out what to do with Ronald next.
How about saying 2 words?
And Ronald McDonald walks up to him, and he's like, well, what you could say is, "You win." And this kid's mad as heck.
Yeah, so the bad guy is just like this kid who's playing around with his dad's toys. Like, his dad is like a scientist. Dr. Quizzical or Professor Quizzical or something like that.
Right. I can't remember. Do you remember this kid's name?
I can't remember the kid's name either. It escapes me. Some brat.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, he's a total brat. This kid sucks. But he's like, "All right, you win." And his dad comes home at that time, and he's like, I thought I saw a storm localized around my house in the woods. He's like, "You've been messing with my science stuff and just messing with people." And he's like, "You shouldn't be doing that." And Ronald McDonald is like, "Yeah, he shouldn't be doing that." But whatever. They get all their friends back, and you find out Tika was behind it the whole time. She organized it. She got them all out there. And then, of course, Ronald McDonald's, goody. And so he's invites this kid to go camping with him, even though he just like screwed up their whole night.
Yeah, Ronald McDonald is far too forgiving, I think. I mean, like...
Right, yeah.
Tika orchestrated the kidnapping of her friends and possibly the deaths of 2 of them. And is just generally kind of a treacherous hoe.
Man, yeah. And that's pretty much how it ends up. And, that kid ends up being in, I think, every episode of the series after that. He just continues to hang out with them. But no, it's a really cool haunted house, and this is a Halloween movie, man.
Yeah, it's a good 45 minutes long or thereabouts. Like, it's, with commercials it's probably an hour. It sort of works. The live action, the actor playing Ronald McDonald is actually not bad. He's pretty funny. The animation is actually pretty good. The voice actors are quite good. Most of the elements here hang together pretty well. And I'm guessing this must have come out around Halloween time. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a Halloween special.
Yeah, I believe October 9th, 1998.
Yeah, so these were straight to VHS. Were they played on TV?
No, I don't believe they were played on TV or nothing. I think they came straight to VHS. And honestly, I'm too young to remember. I don't know if you could just buy them at McDonald's or if they came with a Happy Meal.
Yeah, so you would just go to McDonald's and buy like a Happy Meal and get a tape, I guess.
Yeah, probably. I don't know if they sell well. Like, I don't know if I've never looked at the prices on eBay, if they're like big collector's items or what. But, you know, if they're easy to get yourself a copy. Watch VHS tapes. They're awesome.
It's definitely an interesting window into the kind of old McDonald's, because it seems like these characters have been gradually phased out of McDonald's general advertising platform, largely because McDonald's doesn't really want to be seen as marketing itself to kids too much.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a law or something, but yeah, in general, yeah, it might be like they shouldn't be attracting children to eat their food or what, but that company, and I feel like every other company, has just gotten duller. Obviously, if you've been to a McDonald's recently, most of the time they're very bland, very beige.
Well, I think what the deal is with McDonald's, instead of any kind of illegal thing, I think it's just that in the 2000s, it started to become there was this controversy around McDonald's and the unhealthiness of fast food. And like, I'm old enough to remember that back then there was this sort of childhood obesity was a big talking point.
Right, Super Size Me and stuff.
Yeah, that's around the time that Super Size Me came out, the Morgan Spurlock documentary, and that sort of, I don't know that documentary created the zeitgeist. I think it just sort of rode the wave of it, but there was like this whole thing in the 2000s of McDonald's becoming controversial, and my parents were very much on the McDonald's is evil and terrible bandwagon.
Well, the world is gaining weight. On the Health Watch tonight, the new worldwide numbers on obesity.
Obesity is skyrocketing. Researchers say it's a growing, disturbing public health crisis.
America has now become the fattest nation in the world. Congratulations.
Which, I mean, to be fair, it probably is an evil company, and their food is bad for you.
Yeah, and as a vegan, definitely don't support them.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's why you don't see the characters much anymore, and that's probably a big reason why these things, more of them didn't come out.
Right, I think they ended around 2003.
Yeah, that sounds right, early 2000s. They were pretty much done with it by then, because the characters were getting phased out of commercials anyway.
Right, that's weird, I don't know if kids would recognize these characters. I feel like a few years ago there was some sort of Grimace something, and people were talking about Grimace online.
Every once in a while, it seems like McDonald's sort of flirts with the idea of bringing them back, but they never really go all in. But these tapes are an interesting window into kind of like the weirdness of 90s kids media. The look of it, the general wackiness of it, exemplifies this kind of vibe that was in the air during the 90s of kids animation and kids entertainment being just extra weird, I guess, because this is the same decade that produced shows like Ren and Stimpy, Cat Dog, and Cow and Chicken, and this kind of stuff. It was a time of weird kids media.
But this is great, and I had a lot of fun talking with you about it, man.
I did. I had a lot of fun talking with you about it, too. Now, let me ask you this. I don't know if we want to do a ranking system necessarily on everything, but out of 5 stars, what would you give this? What is your honest assessment?
My honest assessment is absolutely 5 out of 5.
Okay.
And maybe that's my nostalgia blinding me or something. I don't know. I think it's a great story. I mean, again, I love spooky things. If you some reason you don't want to watch the whole episode, skip ahead halfway through or whenever and go watch the parts of the haunted house. It's a great haunted house. There's great spooky songs, and it's just great. I don't know. There's something about weird doorways and mirror mazes and fireplaces that turn around like hidden rooms and stuff, and your friends disappear, and riddles. It's awesome.
You're very attracted to the aesthetics. I can appreciate that.
I think it's a 5 out of 5. I think it's just a great episode. What would your rating be, sir?
Oh, that's hard to say. I guess it depends on what level. I guess if it's just like, is this a fun thing to stick on that's sort of cool and nostalgic? Yeah, sure, 5 out of 5, whatever. As far as its actual value,
just give us your just give us your honest opinion.
Listen, I like this. I don't think it's good, but I like it, if that makes sense.
2
out of 5. 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5. All right. That hurts, but okay. That's good,
But
man.
that doesn't mean...
You have your own opinion. I love it.
Listen, I would rate a McDonald's cheeseburger a 2 out of 5. But would I murder a cheeseburger right now if it was sitting in front of me? Yes. Because it's bad food, but I enjoy it very much. Much like the special. And in that way, it's actually a beautiful metaphor for the product itself.
Yeah.
And you know what? Your whimsy has opened my heart. It's made my heart 3 sizes, grow 3 sizes bigger, and now I'm dying from cardiomegaly.
Well, if you die, make sure you come and haunt me, man. I need some more ghosts in my life, that's for sure.
I'll try to.
All right, well, we'll probably have like a Facebook page or something. We'll probably get an email set up. As we continue along on this new journey we're doing here, maybe we'll end up doing a Patreon further on. If there's anyone would be interested in that, let us know.
Ooh, I would enjoy that, actually.
You would enjoy it? Yeah.
There's a lot of untouched material that we are willing to touch. We're willing to touch a lot of material. We like touching things, and we hope we've touched you. We're going to. I plan on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, next time you hear us, we're going to be talking about what? We're going to talk about some music, aren't we, Bryce?
Absolutely. I think what you said the next episode is going to be about the Misfits Static Age.
Yes, we're going to talk about the Misfits. We're going to get into some horror punk and some music in general. This is my pick next time around, the Misfits with their debut album, Static Age, or The Static Age. Very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, so tune in next week and give that a listen. Go watch Scared Silly. And, this has been the Calling All Creeps podcast. Bad dreams.
Bye-bye.
What kind of place can this be? Who could live in here? What family?
It's wild and scary. The walls are hairy. It smells so musty and everything is...